if they don't show something this year, they're going to head into a point where people don't want to hear the excuses anymore, right? And we're looking at the San Francisco 49ers, who were 4-12 last season for a variety of reasons. Mm-hmm. What are some of the reasons you think they'll do better this year?
Well, let's start with a simple one, right? It's got to be Jimmy Garoppolo, a guy who played 2.5 games after getting an $8 billion contract. He got a lot of money last year.
It's like when $27 million was a lot of money, right? Like that's what Jimmy got. But yeah,
he got a lot of money. He played 2.5 games. He tore his ACL. And so you'd figure you start there, right? No math, no complex stuff. Just when your starting quarterback plays 2.5 games, you're going to struggle. But we've seen how good they can be when he's healthy. And even if you don't figure he's going to play 16 games, well, he might play 13 or 14 games. And if he does, that's you would hope, a fundamentally different offense with their star quarterback under center.
Yeah, and I think, this is a guy that Kyle Shanahan, head coach, kind of identified and went and traded a pick to get, figuring he could be the guy that could operate the offense he wants to operate. Kyle's awfully good at what he does.
Yes.
I mean, he's winning games last year with Nick Mullins at quarterback, and the running back, Jerick McKinnon, got hurt before the season even started. So you'd have to think if he has his guys in place, that they have a chance to do something that they haven't done out there yet.
Absolutely. This is a team that was just destroyed by injuries a year ago. Of course, the Garoppolo one's the biggest one, but Jerick McKinnon, like you said, I think got $12 million up front in the first year of his deal, missed the entire season again with an ACL. And they had a lot of depth at running back. They have Jerick McKinnon, Tevin Coleman's there. Matt Burrito is pretty good, playing on what looked like to be a mangled ankle for most of the season. Raheem Mostert even played and was pretty good. They have a lot of depth at running back, and they were the 4th most injured team on the whole in the NFL last year.
So we look at this stuff, we look at injuries, we look at turnovers, right? I mean, that's another thing that kind of fluctuates year to year, and they were one of the worst teams in the league last year in terms of protecting the ball.
So here's the weird thing about turnovers. We know it's important, right? You know that the best teams are going to be good at turnover differential, the worst teams are going to be bad at turnover differential. That's not like some grand secret. But, and here's the really interesting thing, it's not sticky from year to year. So the team that finishes in last place in turnover differential, which happens to be the Niners this year, last year it was the Cleveland Browns, who took a big step forward. They tend to improve really dramatically, more than you might think. Their turnover differential the following year, the teams that finished in last place since 1989, improves by about 23 turnovers from year to year, just on average. That's beyond even, the Browns, for example, I think improved by even more a year ago. So those teams tend to improve just because their turnover differential kind of just regresses to the mean. It's hard to be really good or really bad at that from year to year. So that could be a way for the Niners to improve just by being on the field for 16 games.
I think it's a big year for them, too.
Yes.
I mean, I know Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, the GM, got 6-year deals. This is the 3rd year,
yes.
And while that sounds like there's a lot left, there's been a lot expected here. First year was kind of a mulligan. Second year, they thought it'd be great. They had their quarterback. They thought that would be the year they'd kind of vault back into contention. Yes. They didn't. If they don't show something this year, they're going to head into a point where people don't want to hear the excuses anymore, yes. Right?
Absolutely. But this was a team last year. They were the sleeper team. They were the hot team a year ago. You kind of figured Seattle was going to take a step backwards. The Rams were still going to be good. But this was going to be a 9-10 wild card caliber team, and it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So if you get a healthy Garoppolo, some of these things that are just hard to have happen from year to year, they kind of get better, the injuries, the turnovers, and you get a step forward from that pass rush. This could be that team we saw a year ago, just 1 year late.
So if we look at that, that's all kinds of reasons to be optimistic. But these trends don't always, right? They don't always point us the way that we think that they're pointing. So if they don't improve, what would be the reason why not?
Well, you got to start with Garoppolo, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know that he's going to be healthy for 16 games. We don't know he's going to be healthy for 13 games or 10 games. He could tear his ACL in week 1 for all we know. There are quarterbacks who just, for whatever reason, they can't stay healthy. Think about Chad Pennington with the Jets a few years ago, where we knew when he played, he was going to be good, but he couldn't stay on the field for more than 3 or 4 games at a time, it felt like, without getting injured. Steve McNair, to a similar extent, where he played through injuries, but was not the same guy because he kept getting injured. He put his body in situations where he was going to get hurt. So Garoppolo could be that same sort of player.
And plus, we haven't seen him operate a full season as a starting quarterback. It's always been projection from Jimmy Garoppolo. We think we know what he's going to be based on his talent. Mm-hmm. That incredible 5-game finish to the 2017 season got everybody so excited. But part of being a starting quarterback is managing your way through the season, through the practices, the game preparation, week to week, executing game plans, and leading the huddle. So that's something we haven't seen for an extended period of time from that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you think about someone like Eli Manning, where he gets beat up a lot and he struggles. He's not the quarterback he used to be, but health is a skill. I mean, you don't stay on the field for 75 years. How long has he been quarterback for the Giants for?
14?
14? Well, somewhere in the middle between.
Started every game except for the one they told him not to, right?
Exactly.
Since 2004.
And there's a skill to that. That's not by accident. You're getting the ball out quickly. You're not taking hits you don't need to take. Tom Brady, another good example, where outside of that one torn ACL, he's been healthy for every single game he's played, or certainly been on the field for every single game he's been eligible to play in since outside of the suspension, outside of the torn ACL. So with Garoppolo, it could be a thing where he's like a Matthew Stafford, where Stafford struggled to stay healthy early in his career, but since then he's been a rock. He's played to everything. So it could be the case with Garoppolo. We just don't know because we don't have that sample to really draw from yet.
Yeah, people I don't think remember when Matthew Stafford was a health question. So hopefully for Jimmy Garoppolo's sake, his career ends up heading in that direction as opposed to one of the other guys that you cited. That's some of the reasons we expect the 49ers might or maybe might not improve in 2019. Keep watching to find out which other teams we think might take big swings in one direction or the other this coming season. And for more premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.